On this episode of Saints Happy Hour, it's the first mock draft of the season. The trade down dream of Kevin Held will never die. Thomas, hit that intro.
Welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. We never trade up.
There was a path to give up 3 first-round picks to get Jaden Daniels. I would do it. And I would pick Jaden Daniels.
Now grab a drink and enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Hard Hide, Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey, and Chilton County Peach Whiskey. Kevin, we're on the YouTube, so anybody listening, subscribe to our channel, like us, leave a comment. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us a ton. We got Thomas running the show back at Poland. And look, it's time of the year where we start paying attention to the draft. Senior Bowl week is here. So, Kevin, it's mock draft season. It's the first mock draft of the year. And listen, I'm doing publicly.
I have done way too many mock drafts in the mock draft channel on our Discord, which you can join if you are a member of our Patreon.
Right.
Again, we got to get more pluggaroos going here, Ralph.
Right,
more
right.
pluggaroos.
Listen, I want to say our Discord is amazing. If you're tired of Twitter/X, if you're tired of I can't even describe what goes on in Facebook. I saw a fake Sean Payton pregnancy story. Like the AI slop on Facebook is it's out of control. But if you don't like that and you just want to talk to real normal people about the Saints, our Discord is there. It's amazing. We're nice. We're friendly. And Kevin,
we'll tell you when we do AI slop. We'll tell you what AI slop is. Like Mickey Loomis tussling Kellen Moore's hair.
Yes, and we will tell you not only what when we do AI slop, we will tell you what lake we have drained to create that AI slop. So listen, I leave the drafting and the analyzing because seriously, this is no crap because you know I love you. Like your draft knowledge is incredible. You do a ton of mock drafts. You know the players up and down, and you do a great job. And I don't focus on it that much. But what I try to do with the draft is I try to read as many opinions of people that I like about like the macro level of the draft. And like, do they like this draft or do they not? Like, and I'll give you an example. Teams love the 2027 draft. They got a lot of teams that are like, we want more 2027 picks because the 2027 draft is going to be amazing. You got Arch Manning and Smith from Ohio State and all that. And then you have years like in 2017, where Bill Belichick wanted his first round pick back and he thought he would get it. You know, they would trade he would trade system corner, AKA Malcolm Butler, to the Saints, and he would get a first round pick back or a second round pick back. And Mickey Loomis was like, go fly a kite. This draft is awesome. We're keeping all the picks. And so, Kevin, this draft, everything I've read about it so far is that it isn't necessarily that teams think it's a bad draft, but like the top end talent isn't that good, let's say. So do you expect a lot of chaos, not during the draft, but in your rankings that you look at PFF and you're doing all these mocks? I know you're always like, when it gets closer to the draft, you're like, man, this guy's shooting up. Remember when we did a mock draft, Ralph, and he was a 6. Now you got to get him in the 3rd. Do you expect a lot of chaos in those rankings as we do these mock drafts, even more so than normal years?
I tend to, I guess I'm not looking for a lot of change up top. I kind of wait and see how things are going once we're past the college season. Like, I started doing mock drafts while Spencer Rattler was still the quarterback of the Saints. That's how dire the season was. I just felt like, to hell with it. It's slightly cathartic to just start doing mock drafts. And I just kept doing them even when Chuck took over, and like other people were doing them. So it was like, to hell with it. Because normally I'm very much a wait until the regular season is done, or at least wait until you get to December. And no, I just got sucked into doing them early. The funny thing about all of this is every mock draft that has been done by me, by our patrons in the Discord, by other people, national, it doesn't matter how dynamic and well-versed they are, everything done before the end of the college football season is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Just pretend it doesn't exist. You're getting the senior. We're recording this on a Friday. I don't know when you're dropping it. I assume in a couple of days, maybe today. I don't know.
Right.
But
The Senior Bowl. Right before the Senior Bowl.
So the Senior Bowl hasn't happened yet. Once that happens, now you're getting more. Now the wheels are really churning. Then you're looking at post-NFL season,
Combine.
Post-NFL season, free agency, combine. Actually, free agency will be after the combine. And then some things are going to shift. That's where you're going to see the biggest jumps and the biggest shifts. I mean, I don't think I'm telling you. I don't think I'm telling anybody that listens to us anything that they don't already know. I'm just sort of like re-establishing or just further hammering the nail. So I've just been doing all these mock drafts just to kind of see, well, where are some of these players going in this particular mock draft software? And then now that I'm on PFF, I'll be able to see, well, where are they going in this one? And I'll notice some of the discrepancies. Like I've noticed a few discrepancies already.
Yeah. Well, because when you
I'll point some of those out as we go along and do more of these. Like I'll obviously be doing, like by the time the draft happens, I'll have done a few hundred more of these.
Yeah, and the thing that I love about this is that by the time I can just rip off players' names, and you're like, yeah, that guy's. You can give the measurement. So the Saints pick 8th. Yeah, and I didn't give you any, like, as we do these mock drafts and people that are find us and like us and hang out with us, they'll realize that, like, during these drafts, I'll give Kevin kind of like an assignment or rules where I'll say, look, Kevin, this draft, I want you to fix this problem for the Saints, or you can only trade up once, or you can only trade, you would never trade up, but like you can only trade down twice, right? And I didn't give you any rules for this draft, so I don't know how.
The only thing you said was you are doing a 3-round mock draft. I asked you almost immediately, can I trade that? Can I do any trades or not? You didn't respond. You ghosted me. I thought I was on a dating app. You were just like, no communication whatsoever. So I'm like, wait, is Ralph breaking up with me? What am I? Will there not be a second date? What are we looking at here?
Well,
but
that makes it exciting for me.
Oh, good. As long as it's exciting for you, that's what counts.
I should have played the sad. I should have played the sad violin. I should have played the sad violin. But I didn't.
It's not like we don't have a soundboard of our own where it's a lot clearer for the audio listeners.
Authentic.
There we go.
It's authentic.
That's the tried and true. That's the standard. That's the standard. That's the bar.
The standard is the standard, as Mike Conlon would say.
So I got a hold of PFF late last night and fiddled with it a little, and then woke up this morning and did some morning fiddling, and then finally did one, just the 3-rounder, and sent that to Tomas. I did not send it to you. I have not posted this in the Discord, so nobody will know what I'm saying.
It's exciting
At this point.
So the Saints are picking at 8.
Yes.
Did you make a selection or did you trade down?
I made a selection. I made a selection.
Surprisingly.
I went with Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver out of Arizona State. I decided that the Saints needed a splashy player. David Bailey is somebody that has also intrigued me. He was already gone. Jeremiah Love was gone.
Ooh, Jeremiah Love went top 7. Interesting.
Yeah. And I just was like, you know what? Let me take the wide receiver, because if I trade back a little, some of the picks there, it's like I have the interior, the defensive interior guys. There are a few there that looked okay, that look appealing, but you don't know what you're gonna what you're gonna be seeing. I guess I'm thinking. What am I thinking? I've got like 90 thoughts pounding into my head at once. Sorry, everybody. I've been doing this. We've been podcasting for what is it?
Too long.
20 years. Nearly almost 20 years, me and you, and I still
next year, yeah.
I still can't have this. I still can't have this thing figured out in my own head. Got a bunch of thoughts racing through my head. All of these mock drafts. Again, this goes back to what I was saying before. We don't know what the Saints are doing in free agency.
That's right.
We don't know. Maybe they're going to make a splash and try and get a free agent at wide receiver. Maybe they'll try and get a free agent at running back. Maybe they'll try and get a free agent at guard, and it'll change the calculus. So I'm saying that just to cover my bases.
Well, yeah, people know when they see this. They know that we ain't done free agency yet, and you can't project. If they go out and sign Romeo Doubs on day 1 of free agency, they're probably not taking a receiver at 8, but right now we don't know that. Here's my question to you, though, Kevin.
Right.
Who was available at this 8th pick? Because my thing with the Saints is I feel like, depending on how the draft falls, if they get to pick 8 and they're like, listen, we have a wide receiver and we have a defense and we have these guys in our cloud and they're all very similar. If all these guys, if it's a wide receiver, if it's an end, if it's a running back, whatever, and they're like, listen, we need any of these guys. Like, they all feel a need, because this roster, as much fun as Shuck was, like, this roster still kind of sucks and they need a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, and we've said that. We've said that.
So my question, when you picked at 8, did they still have 3 or 4 guys that definitely filled the need? Because my question is, listen, hope springs eternal, and I'm just thinking, like, if the Saints get to 8 and they're like, hey, there's 3 other guys, there's 4 guys on this board that, like, they're all kind of similar, their ratings are pretty close, they all feel a need, maybe the Saints would be like, hey, we'll go from 8 to 11 because we know at 11 we're getting one of these guys.
I mean, I don't know. They had Ruben
Bain.
What is his name? Ruben Bain from Miami. I think he's a little heavy for. Oh, it would have been nice if it would have opened up so I could have seen the weight. Thank you, fellas.
He's a weird one because he's kind of a tweener. He's got the T-Rex short arms.
Yeah.
He kicked ass in the national championship. Indiana couldn't block him to save their life.
Right. But I guess I just look at it like I'm going by numbers on a sheet at this point. And somebody was like, well, he might be a little heavy to be a 3-4 defensive end. And I'm like, okay, so I'll trust that basic knowledge and sort of put him a little bit lower. Malachi Lemon was available, the USC wide receiver, who, gets a lot of high marks, but this guy's 5'11", and I feel weird about trying to find a number one wide receiver who is 5'11", or a guy who can run tandem with Chris. Let's assume Chris Olave is staying. Having a guy who's 5'11" acting as your 1A or 1B, it just I don't. You can call me what the hell was that old guy's name from the Raiders?
Al Davis.
The owner. Why can't I think of his name?
Al Davis.
You can call me Al Davis. It's just sometimes I can be wowed by height.
Yeah, and speed.
I can be wowed by height. Like Jordan Tyson.
Size matters. Ladies know what I'm talking about.
That's what she said.
Jordan Tyson is 6'2". 8 touchdowns, 61 receptions, over 700 receiving yards for Arizona State. Like he was making hay with Arizona State.
Mm-hmm.
So, and is up there with Carnell Tate from Ohio State.
And
Tate was already gone. Tate was already gone. So.
The one thing I like about Jordan Tyson is from last year to this year, he cut his drop rate tremendously. And to me, like that show at wide receiver, you got to be able to catch the ball, right? And I just feel like that shows to me a level of work ethic and focus that I like. He's had some injuries, but listen, the Saints, Jalen Polk, they traded for him from New England. He's fun. They took a flyer on him. He's fishing with Tyler Shuck. The Saints say he's been great in the building and all of that. Okay, that's cool. And Vele is cool. But you can't go into next year, Chris Olave, Vele, Jordan Polk. You can't. No. You cannot do that. You better add a receiver in free agency or the draft. That's just Kevin. That's just unacceptable. And listen, I know Tyler Shuck elevated some dudes and he made some throws. Ronnie Bell against Atlanta, but if you do that and you're the Saints, I feel like that's malpractice with your young quarterback. You got to do this. So I this pick, I can't at this moment with the Saints, I can't argue it because receiver is massive need, massive. I don't care if they keep Chris Olave, extend him, whatever. You still need a number 2.
Yeah, or a guy that could step up and possibly be the number 1.
Yeah.
And again, he's going to come in and he's I'm just 6'2". Mm-hmm. I see a wide receiver that's getting love and pub who's 6'2", 6'3",
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep my eyes on him.
Yeah. Would you have been, before we go into round 2, would you have been tempted with Jeremiah? If Jeremiah Love was there, if it was Jeremiah Love or Tyson right now, who would you still go Tyson?
I debate picking him. I feel weird picking a running back early in the draft. I say this as somebody who loved the fact that the Saints picked Reggie Bush.
That's right.
First overall and everything, or second overall. I'm sorry. I just the different circumstances, but and I get it. Jeremiah Love is is touted as this potential game changer and all that, but I don't. The Saints have so many needs and so many deficiencies and so many holes that bringing him in, I don't think you're putting him in a position to succeed. They would have to make moves in the offseason prior to the draft they would have to just go after offensive linemen.
That's right.
In free agency.
So they haven't, right? So that's my thing with Jeremiah Love. I'm cool with it, but here's the thing. You got to sign David Edwards from Buffalo, maybe add another guard, right? And so when you get to pick 8, you're like, hey, we have solidified guard. It's not a disaster anymore. It's going to be competent to above average, we could.
You probably have to
running
draft
back.
one too. You will have to draft one within the first 3 rounds, or the first 3 picks, depending on whether or not they trade down or not.
And
but
listen,
whatever.
We'll get into it all offseason. Like, it flies under the radar, and we don't have to get into it here necessarily. But like, I love Erik McCoy. He's an elite top 3 center, I believe, but he's not healthy. So
No.
like, what do you do there? So anyway, on to the second round, pick 40. Right? Is that who that?
No, I think it's pick 42.
Pick 42. Right. So
Let me double check that. Yeah, pick 42.
So what did we do at pick 42? Aha, here we go.
Pick 42, I made a trade. Now, mind you, this is PFF.
Yeah.
Which only shows you...
Sorry,
thank you,
a bit too slow.
Which only shows you that X number of teams are interested in your pick. And then you have to try and make the deal. Whereas PFSN presents a couple of pre-made
trades
offers to you, and then you have to decide whether to reject it or not. So one of the options that I saw, one of the teams that was saying we'd be interested in pick 42 were the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh.
Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I started playing around and fidgeting there and seeing what was a high likelihood of getting a successful trade. And at first I tried doing certain moves and it didn't seem like a high enough percentage. I want it to be above 80.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys play with PFF and do mock drafts, you'll know what I'm talking about. So ultimately, I traded pick 42 and pick 73.
Ooh.
That's round 2 and round 3 to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for pick 53, pick 76, pick 85, pick 214, and pick 224. Now, I know you're laughing at the fact that I got my illustrious, more 6th and 7th rounders.
Yeah.
But considering that the team still has needs and still has holes, and this is all this year. So it's you can use 224 if you want on a punter. God knows we're going to need a punter.
Yeah.
You can use 224 on a punter if you want. But I got an extra top 100 pick.
Yeah.
And it only cost me sliding down 3 picks in round 3 and 7 picks in round 2. I got an extra top 100 pick and I got 2 late draft picks.
I love this.
And look, it's like spare change. Like, I get that. That's spare change, but I got it.
But here's the thing. I love this because I feel like an extra 3rd round pick really makes this draft for the Saints potentially strong, because then you have a 1st, a 2nd, 2 3rds, and you got your 2 4ths already, right? Because you got your Rashid Shaheed trade and the comp pick coming. And the thing is, yes, they hit on damn near every pick last year, except like the tight end and the defensive end in round 6 and 7, right? But like, that's probably not going to happen. But if I have 6 picks in the first 4 rounds, even if I hit on just 3 and I get 2 starters and a contributor, that's huge. And that makes the Saints a lot closer to competing in the South and maybe winning the South. And it gives you a huge margin for error. Plus, I like the late round picks because when you have more late round picks, it allows you to do things like the Saints did with Polk, where they're like, hey, we're going to take Jalen Polk and we're going to give you a future. We're going to give you a future 6 and you give us Polk and a future 7. And it's like in 2028. When you have those picks, you can do that this year for players, or there'll be teams in the draft that will have veteran players that they want to get rid of, and you can give them a 6th and a 7th. Like, in this trade, if the Saints ended up swapping a 7th for a backup guard that ended up being okay, that's a win, right? So I love this, and I want this draft for the Saints. I want another top 100 pick. So I love this. So what did you do?
Yeah.
But what did you do at pick 53?
All right, pick 53. I kept looking at, well, what are the needs? What are the needs? According to, hang on, I want to make sure I'm looking at this right. PFF.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. PFF just has defensive line listed as a need. PFSN gets a little more specific and says edge. And we've talked about edge as a need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can't, you know, it's nice that Cam Jordan's looking like he's going to stay. But we can't expect 10.5 sacks again. Like, it's just, we can't. Yeah. It was very nice, and it was wonderful to see. But we've got to be thinking future here. We need to make sure that Chase Young has a good tag team partner and that we are able to continue to pressure a quarterback and make hay here.
Yeah, and before you announce the pick,
I went to Texas Tech.
Oh.
I got Romello Height, 6'3", 240 pounds. He has, hang on, where is his total here? 10 sacks he got, 2 forced fumbles, 38 tackles. You know, I like that. The weight is seemingly in line with what a 3-4 edge player is supposed to be. Again, this is stuff that I've been told. If I'm wrong, guess what? I'll be wrong, and then I will make adjustments and then come back and be doing other things and making these decisions here. But I wanted to make
his measurements and his production. I'm like, it seems a little low for him. Like, maybe he should be going higher.
Well, PFF has him ranked 56th.
Okay.
I want to double check here on PFSN.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I wanted to make extra sure. See, PFSN, and like the other, so he was the tag team partner of David Bailey.
Yeah. I mean, Texas.
Oh my God! See, look at that, and here's a key difference right here with PFSN. PFSN has Romello Height ranked 174.
Ooh. See,
so you're gonna see. So here, this is gonna be one of those things that we're gonna have to watch. Like, why or how does PFF having this guy rated 56 on their big board versus PFSN having this guy rated 174? How does that jive?
I think you're going to see a lot of these, like the difference between pick 45 and pick 200. I think these teams, I think these mock draft plays, I think they're going to be all over the place, and it's going to, you know, I think it's potentially I think you know, when the consensus doesn't line up for players, I think you're going to have a lot of teams making a lot of mistakes, and that's just part of it.
And listen, we may come back. I may look back at this in a month, or
and be like, oof.
Or let's say the beginning of March. I may look back at this at the beginning of March and say, man, yeah, I don't. Romello Height at 53 even is too much. Like, maybe the 3rd round pick might be more, seems more in line with where he looks to be, according to this group and this group. PFF seems like more of the outlier. So, yeah. And you know, obviously, day of draft, this guy could drop lower than that and wind up being in the 140s or 150, and just, you know, more teams end up just running on certain positions, and this defensive
and I like
guy
this.
just drops.
I like this because listen, the Saints defense overachieved and was better than I think any of us thought. I don't think there was a person alive that was like the Saints are going to be ranked in the top 12 in EPA for rush and pass. Like that, there was only like 6 defenses, and all the rest of them were in the playoffs. And the Saints, you're like, what? But it was incredible. Staley was awesome. But the thing that I don't want the Saints to do, Kevin, is say, oh, the defense is fixed. We got Staley. We don't need to add anything. We can go all offense.
No. You've said this on the big show. The defense is not fixed. The defense, you still, look, Demario Davis, old. Again, he's still good. I'm not saying you got to shove him out the door, but you've got to be looking at the future.
That's right.
Cam. Love this guy to death. Like, despite the him shaving his beard. Love him. But old, and you've got to prepare for the future.
And here's my thing.
No, say what you were going to say.
No, I was going to say this. The thing that I want is you got one more year of DeMario and Cam. I feel like it would be so beneficial if you get, especially a defensive end for this. They have Stutzman at linebacker, right? So they kind of have that ready to go. But I just think you get height in there, right? And he's going to see Demario Davis every day. He's going to see Cam Jordan every day, how they work, how they do everything every day in the weight room, in the meetings. And listen, Chase Young said it. He said, I came to the Saints and I saw how Demario Davis works, how Cam Jordan works. And I was like, oh, that's how you become a great professional. And as fans, we want all these young kids to have all this work ethic. And no, it's like, no, they're going to get a pile of money and dropped into a city that they may or may not be happy to be at, right? And to get a year of Cam and Demario on that side of the ball, I think it's invaluable. So I think it's absolutely critical that the Saints spend a top 100 pick at defensive end. Because imagine him, you get a year with Cam Jordan. Maybe Cam Jordan has another good year. Maybe he gets another 5-6 sacks, and height Cam plays 50%, height plays 50%. And then in 2027, Cam's ready to go to TV and Height's ready to roll at defensive end. So I just think it's imperative that they get a defensive end top 100 picks. Got to do it. I like this pick.
Yeah. And, I think the who it is right now is that'll just be up for debate, and I'll probably end up drafting like a different guy
every time.
Next time out. It just is what it is.
All right.
So pick 76. I'm like, the biggest. There are, to me, bigger needs, but I liked where this guy was sitting in the moment. I liked where this guy was sitting, and this is another weird discrepancy between PFF and PFSN. So you mentioned him before. You mentioned him a few minutes ago. Eric McCoy.
Yeah.
Good. Capable. But oft injured and expensive, and
yeah.
You're like, does he want this? Like, does he want to be like does he want it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we are looking at getting his replacement. And look, Luke Fortner and Simpkins, Fortner more so, went in there, filled in, and did
Fortner
fine.
Fortner might get paid this offseason. He's a free agent. He might get the 3-year, $26 million deal from a team desperate for a center, because his tape with the Saints, if you need a center, You could do a lot worse than Fortner, I promise you.
Right. But the Saints need to continue to invest in the line. I get it. People don't like line picks. It's not sexy, but Tyler Shuck's career is going to. He's either going to be pretty good or he can be great if he has a good to great offensive line, he can be great.
Yeah.
Because he was making things happen with the offensive line we have now.
Yeah, and listen,
and nobody is satisfied with the offensive line we have now.
Eric McCoy, you go into year 3, he gets hurt in 2026. It's on the Saints to me. He got hurt in 2024 and 2025. If he gets hurt in 2026 and the Saints don't have a plan for it, that's on them because we've seen it.
So again, this is we are getting ready. We have the next guy up.
Who?
So I'm looking to Florida.
Oh,
Jake Slaughter.
Ooh, I like that's a good offensive line name too. That's a great rep.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That's a vibes pick.
That is a vibe. That is a Jake Slaughter.
His classman photo. His classman photo is pretty hilarious. He has these very thin wireframe glasses and like a goatee. Yeah.
See, I wouldn't give this. I would give this pick a much higher grade than PFF did because you like the Saints. They gotta do something at center. Like and listen, McCoy may get back and he may be healthy and maybe he had a couple of fluke injuries, but the Saints, to me, Kevin, one of the, they had a great draft. They, the Vele trade really worked out. The trade for Fortner went way under the radar. We joked about it at the time. We were like, oh, that's a trash swap. Jacksonville and the Saints are just swapping trash, right? We don't really want Saunders anymore, and they don't want this center who they drafted high, and he's not working out. This is just a trash swap. And it mattered. And so, we saw it 2 years ago, like the Saints, I think they played 4 different guys at center after McCoy. So, it's a pick. People will not be excited about it because they will see other people at 76, either receivers or running backs or whoever, and Saints will pick a center in this scenario, and they'll be mad. And I get that the Saints have spent so many picks on offensive line and high picks, and it hasn't worked. But it's like you said, you got to fix the line. How are you going to fix the line? You got to pour more resources into it, whether you want to or not.
PFF, they give him an 84.1 pass block grade, an 80.2 run block grade. They have him as what did they just have him? Hang on, I just had that number. They had him. Their rank was 77 on their big board, or 78 it says here. So that must have changed from the time I did it to just now when this is showing up. PFSN, meanwhile, has him rated 158.
Ooh,
now maybe that's because they discount. They're discounting centers. I don't know. That's entirely possible.
It's entirely possible.
But the Saints need to be looking at fixing the line. Again, they may try and do this in free agency. If they do it, then obviously I would be changing this, and that's okay. But that's why we've got from now until April, kids.
That's right.
Trust me, there will be a lot more mock drafts. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this and saying, what is Kevin doing? Hey, look, I'm steal a line from the video game College Football. I'm taking what the defense is giving me. The defense in this case is, what is the Saints' current situation? Current situation is we need to be looking at the offensive line. We need to be looking at the defensive line. We need to be looking at filling in, plugging holes on offense. That those are the problems.
and
Those are the
listen,
big problems.
And I said it on our patrons Discord chat, which we have, and if you become a patron, you get access to that. You can join us almost every Thursday, where I'm hanging out. Sometimes Kevin's hanging out. You just hop in the Discord channel, and we just answer questions and talk Saints. It's great. But the point that I was making there is the Saints have so many needs.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to do everything we want them to do.
No.
And you are up against it even more so, because in free agency, they'll do some stuff. And in the draft, they'll do some stuff. But even when you combine the two, there's going to be at least one spot, maybe two, where the Saints aren't going to do anything. And we're going to be like, I wish they'd have done something there. Because
we're going to have to hope that they take a UDFA. Of course, Juge will find him. It'll be some UDFA guy from Sheboygan or whatever, and Juge will just have a hair up his ass about him and say, you know what, this will probably be the guy, and by week 4 he'll be the starter, and he'll turn out to be passable.
Gross, but I'm just saying, like,
that's how that'll work out. But again, we'll be waiting and hoping that we can fix whatever the problem, whatever the situation, whatever it is, whatever the hole is. We'll be like, well, I hope they spackle that at some point before we show the house, and then they'll spackle it in UDFA.
Yeah, spackle it, put the blue tarp over it. We got, So listen, this draft, I love it so far. They have so many holes, it's frustrating. But we got one more pick, because it's a 3-round draft. One more pick at 85. What did you do at 85?
Right. So, pick 85. I'm not here. I'm not here to be loved. Okay. I'm not here to be loved. That's what the dating apps are for. I'm not here. I'm not here to make the sexy picks. I am here to make the tough decisions and decide not what we want, what do we need?
Yeah.
What do we need? We still need help on the offensive line.
Oh, Lord.
We cannot be relying on Cesar Ruiz and a rotation of Simpkins and Reduns. We cannot be doing it. So I went back to Texas.
Oh.
I went to A&M.
Oh.
And I got Chase Bisontis.
Oh, well.
That sounds like he plays for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I got Chase Bisontis.
On base.
Guard. Pure guard. He is the fifth highest rated guard prospect. No, sorry, the 4th highest rated guard prospect, according to NFL Draft Buzz. Hang on, I want to grab the PF. Sorry, Chase Bisontis. No. PFF has him at 89. Oh, they dropped him again, 91. Okay. According to this thing. So he went up, actually. In the last few hours. So he is 6'5", 315 pounds. Again, I look at that. Give me the height. I look at the weight, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. PFF, he has a good pass block grade. The run block grade is a little, leaves a little something to be desired, but you're looking at a guard in round 3. So let's say they go get a guard in free agency. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still going to want them to draft a guard anyway.
Yeah.
I'm still going to want them to draft a guard, because if let's say the guy they pick up in free agency is either on a downslide, or let's say he gets hurt. I mean, the Saints had way too many guys getting bounced out due to injury or some issue, and I don't want to sit around and say, oh, we took care of the problem in free agency. We got a guy, and then he got hurt, and now we're basically back to square one. Give me a put a kid in there. Give me a kid.
And look, to me, the thing that I don't want is the Saints have had injuries on the offensive line, crazy injuries the last 2 years, right? What I don't want to have happen is you have injuries again, and it's before Halloween, and we're like, God damn it, we're back playing Ruiz and Reduns at guard because of injuries or whatever. Like, just get me I want new people to yell at on my TV, Kevin. That's what I want. Even if he's no good, I want new guards to hate. Even if they're not any better, I'm tired of this television program that I'm watching. I want new people to yell at, and because then at least you can say offensive line still sucks, and you'd be like, but listen, man, they signed 2 guys in free agency, they drafted a guy at guard, and they stink or they're all hurt. What do you want to do? You know, so like I want this. I like this. Okay, so we've got this completed draft.
Well, so let me give you. So here's another discrepancy here.
Mm-hmm.
So PFF has him. Hang on, where do we have him? It's right there on the thing. It said 91, but I think he's 89 now. So he's been trending up for PFF. He was on October 4th sitting at 88. And then, oh, I'm sorry. No, he was sitting at 108. He was sitting at 108.5. That's the 50th percent. Sorry. Okay. By November 22nd, he was sitting at 96. And he has been steadily on a climb ever since to where he is right now. However, turn the page or flip the menu, whatever analogy you want to use, and you look at PFSN, they've had him in the low 40s or the high 30s for at least the last 4 weeks.
Wow.
So again, you're going to see some sort of where it's going to meet in the middle. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen there.
Yeah.
Like hell, that's part of why I took Chase here at the end of the 3rd round, is because there have been instances where I've grabbed Chase in the 2nd round with the Saints in PFSN because they've had him rated as a 2nd round pick.
Well, here's the thing with offensive line is I consume an ungodly amount of NFL podcasts, and they're in their off-season mode. And I count at least 7 teams, the Saints included, that I would describe as desperate for offensive line help. And Kevin, I can tell you, there's not enough good free agent offensive linemen to make all these teams that are desperate to fix offensive line happy in free agency. You are going to have maybe half of these teams, at least 2 or 3 of them, that are going to be like, oh, goddamn, we couldn't fill our needs in free agency because we either are cheap or we got outbid or the player didn't want to come here, whatever. So I think there's a real possibility that guards and tackles that right now are in the 80 to 100 range are going to go way higher because teams are going to be like, we couldn't fill it in free agency. We have to do it in the draft. We got to draft this guy. We're drafting him around too high. I don't care.
If you listen to football pods or specific teams, you know, when people are talking about teams, they will talk about we've done a bad job protecting the quarterback. They got to do a better job protecting the quarterback. We need to improve the offensive line. Blah, this, that, and the other thing. And I wish I could rattle off like a bunch of teams right now.
I can. Texans, Chargers, Saints, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You know, like though, you know, that's just off the top of my head. You could make a case. You could make a case. Maybe not the Dolphins because they kind of did fix their offensive line this past year, but the Titans, even though they spent a ton in offseason last year, their offensive line, it still sucks, right? So
right, and they have their franchise passer. So now it's like you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do and protect the
Redskins. That's 6, right? So you know, it just boom, 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 boom. You're already there. So it's a lot of teams, man. It's you know, and a lot of these teams, have cap space and draft picks.
Right. So ultimately, with my first public mock, not a full one, because God knows you would have seen a tight end show up there. You would have seen another wide receiver. You would have seen a defensive interior. You know, eventually we'll get to a point where I am doing all 7 rounds and I'm confounding Ralph. I'm sure there'll be a scenario where Ralph tells me, make as many trades as you want, try and get as many picks as you want, and I somehow finesse the system into getting like 18.
Thomas, that's going to be a 24-hour live stream. Get ready in Poland.
But with this first one skill position player, 3 line players, 3 linemen. So
all right, final thing, then we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah,
you can't pick Tyson because he's a wide receiver. So if I tell you, hey, pick one player that can exceed expectations, of course you're going to pick the wide receiver because then he's getting 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns, and that's fun, and we love it, and it makes sure it means Shuck's awesome. That's too obvious. But if I said one of your other 3 picks, they can be day 1 starter, and by Halloween, it's like Jonas Sanker, where we're like, they nailed that pick. That dude is, I don't know how great he's going to be, but they nailed that pick. Home run. You can make one of the other 3 picks as good as Jonas Sanker was in 2025. Who would you pick?
I think I would take Slaughter, the center. And here's why. I'm picking it because of my lack of knowledge and understanding. And let me explain. And this is not just casual, Kevin doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, it's a day that ends in Y. But I have a tough time watching the games or the film or whatever. Like, I'm not Juge. Juge has that ability where he can watch the game and see and pick up little things. I want to be in a position where by week 6, Jake Slaughter is starting, and the people who are paid and who are depended upon to notice these things are publicly saying on national television or to wide audiences,
that's right,
hey, that Jake Slaughter kid, the Saints found a guy in the 3rd round, and then we've got the centerpiece, pun intended, on the line for the next 5 years on a rookie contract, and we can move on from Eric McCoy.
Yeah, because and the thing is, you like I love Eric McCoy, and look, he's when he plays, he's a great player. But it's come to that point where you're just like, you can't trust them. And for the Saints to have a young center, a young left tackle, a young right tackle, hopefully a guard in free agency.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I'm like you. I can watch film and I understand the pass routes and I can see coverages and all that and defenses and you could do that. But offensive line, man, I don't like it. Let's be real. 99% of us, we don't know. We can see a guy when he messes up a single block, but like, the technique, who was he supposed to help? We don't know any of that.
Right.
And you just want to be able to feel good about
right
where the Saints are
Right.
on the offensive line, and to have an offensive line, I believe that when you have an offensive line, if you got one guy, Kevin, if you got one guy that's a weak link, and you like, okay, we got an offensive line. Ralph is the weak link. He's the guy we got to help. You can figure that out because we could do double teams. We can play an extra tackle. We could do these things and scheme around his weakness, right? But when you got two guys bad, that's when the shit starts to go bad. Things start breaking down because you say, hey, we can't help two guys, right? And it becomes a problem. And that's where I think the Saints are. I think the Saints have two really weak spots at guard, and you've got 2 weak spots at guard, and you got a question mark at center because you don't have health. You got to plug two of those. You got to plug at least two of those holes because I'm confident if you got one bad offensive lineman, Tyler Shuck, Kellen Moore, Douglas, they can figure it out and they can make it work. But if you got two bad guards or a bad guard and your backup center sucks because McCoy's not playing, that's really, really freaking hard to scheme around. And like, there's a reason the Saints sucked in short yardage, man. Me and you don't have to be film experts to know. I know they get their ass pushed back and they can't get a yard. And that's not like film study. It's just like their interior sucks and they get their ass beat. So listen, this first draft, I loved it. This draft, I think it would be really solid, kind of like a meat and potato draft. It would drive people crazy if the Saints went back-to-back offensive linemen. It would drive people crazy. But again, what have you been saying? The line sucks. You got to fix the line. And the only way to fix the line is to invest draft picks or free agent money. Because if you don't do either of those things, it just stays the same. So
Right.
I love this draft season because I think we're gonna have a lot of these. I picked this guy. He was 30 in this system, and he's 125 in this system. I think we're gonna have a lot of that, and it's gonna be fascinating because I'm gonna predict one of these guys that you pick today, they're either going to drop like a stone or keep on rising, and it's going to be a bunch of those each time. And I think by the end, we might need to go back and like do a Thomas timestamp and do a comparison and see like where these guys they were rated on January 22nd. Where are they?
Hey,
April
Tomas,
1st?
check the timestamp on this.
So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Leave a comment in the YouTube. It helps us and it doesn't cost you anything. Go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Become a patron. It's amazing. We're the most fun Saints podcast in the world. And Kevin, we win awards.
You can tell me I'm an idiot on YouTube. Tell me I'm an idiot. If you want to join the Discord, tell me I'm an idiot in the Discord. It's fine.
It's fine. And you get a personal response from Kevin.
Probably, yeah.
For Kevin, for Thomas, the best producer on earth running the show back in Poland, I'm Ralph Malbrough. Until next time, the bar is closed.